Mainstream music sucks, and I'm going to tell you why. Look, it's been going on since recorded music was able to be distributed. What happens is, you have people that innovate music that become like, the when we had uh, jazz, in the early before the turn of the century, those people they were making music in the clubs and it was pure, and people would come out and see it. And if your band sucked, nobody would come out and see it. There, recorded music didn't really have an effect on music or bands, and there wasn't like this big machine. The only machine then was booking agents and people that could get you gigs and casinos and whatever speakeasies. A lot of it was mob, and that's when you were getting real, pure music, artistry. And then once recorded music came in, people said that, hey, we can make money off of people buying these copies of this stuff, and we can. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, this is how we get. And I'm gonna go quite into depth in this of why mainstream music sucks. It's just like anything else. Corporations, dudes with briefcases and suits get involved, and they ruin art. They ruin it. And I'm not a big, never been a big beret wearing. Look at me, I'm an artist, and look at how principled and whatever. Look at my art, I've never been those kind of people, but I do respect the purity of creating art. I just don't like the douchebaggery that usually comes along with it, which usually has something to do with mainstream crap. So, like I said, when you start having companies that are distributing the music and whatever, the artist always loses. They get screwed. And this is the other thing. Another reason why mainstream music gets ruined, the art in it. You might have somebody that was a brilliant artist when they were coming up, young, maybe like a Christina Aguilera or something, big, awesome, powerful voice with all this depth and blues and soul, and then she turns into another bubblegum pop garbage just to get that big money, because that's what the labels are gonna want. That's what the corporations are gonna want. They want something. Give me something snappy, Give me something cheese, Give me something, Shake it off, shake it off. Come on, give me a fucking break. And it's not just pop music either. Mainstream music ruined metal. Period. The hairband movement, all of that stuff, when it started as just this really edgy, sleazy, gross thing coming out of LA, and some of it was in New York. You had New York Dolls that influenced those guys, and Kiss and stuff. That stuff was pure, it was real. Kiss wasn't the greatest band in the world, but they told you they were. And it was like stuff was awesome. And then towards the end of the 80s, 89, you get Firehouse. Dudes, long hair, they've got the stuff, and they're dressed in, but they're, baby, don't treat me bad. Screw that garbage. It's crap. It's bubblegum pop garbage for the people who just aren't thinking. They're just going along with the, oh, well, hair metal is cool right now, so I'm going to go out and get that Firehouse record because I heard that big hit, Don't Treat Me Bad. And so they're just going along, bah, bah, bah. They just follow along. And they ruined hair metal because all of the record companies going, this LA rock scene thing, we got to have more of that. We need guys with long hair, dudes singing like they got a fucking chest full of helium, and let's pump it out. Same thing happened in the jazz movement in the 30s and 40s. There were real innovators, badass bands like Chick Webb that were just killing the big band scene, killing it. And Chick would invite people to come and just get slammed. Benny Goodman showed up and he got rocked with Gene Krupa on the drums. I mean, I loved Benny Goodman stuff, but it wasn't. After that, you get the Tommy Dorseys, and then this like, and real musicians were like, "This sucks. I don't want to be in this kind of band anymore. It's not pure. It's not edgy like the stuff that we were doing in the clubs was." Same thing with hip hop. Hip hop, when it started, 70s, 80s, it was like this underground culture. They were doing it in clubs, and it was genuine. It started in this organic fashion, and then some jerks will go, well, hey, people are showing up to this and they're having a good time. There's some money to be made here, right? Yeah, let's get some of that money. We want that money. So, then Sugar Hill Gang. And there was a lot of that stuff in the 80s that I liked, the early hip hop, Slick Rick and stuff. And going back and listening to it, it's like, cheesy or whatever. But, I was also young. I was kind of, going along with when it came out, Run DMC crossed over. And then the 90s hit, and you had this like new wave, the gangster image, Snoop and all that stuff, and the East Coast, West Coast, and everybody bought into the whole. And there was some of that was legitimate. But that stuff, it started churning out stuff like what we got. And I know people love Beyonce, but I think it's just crap. Most of it's just overproduced, underthought garbage. Just because it sonically sounds good doesn't mean that it sounds good, which leads me to the other reason why mainstream music sucks. It's because most of it is just, you get in the studio and you've got engineers, and they've got all of this gear, and I know what all the gear is. I could tell you, what every piece of gear does and how they use it, but they put auto-tune on everybody's voice, so it doesn't matter if you sing like crap. Oh, they just tweak that with some auto-tune, put you right in key. Awesome. And trust me, people that you don't think, they are doing it. They use it. Now it's like it's almost an industry standard. Oh yeah, we'll just put some auto-tune on that. We'll fix it right up. And then they got click tracks and samples and drum machines and fucking synthesizers, all of this garbage. When all I want to do is hear somebody play an instrument. Hell, just do what Bobby McFerrin does and do it all with your friggin' bass. But do something that's real, man. Country music. I mean, this Americana crap. What happens is they take the culture of something that was cool, like metal culture or hip-hop culture when it came out, or even the early movement of the new Americana music, when you had this alt country sort of, even like the Lynyrd Skynyrd's or whatever. Hell, just about every band around has more to do with Lynyrd Skynyrd than they do Hank Williams now. And they all look the same now. You notice that? They all look like lumberjacks with big old beards. You got Chris Stapleton, he's a great vocalist. But everybody looks like that. They all got the long hair, they all look like they fell out of Lynyrd Skynyrd's tour bus back in 76 or whatever. And it's like, come on, man. Do something that's original or just new, or just have your own spin on it. Don't look like everybody else. Don't follow the things. Don't do that. If you love country music and you consider yourself a country music artist, make your own thing. Same thing. I love rockabilly, but I have a rockabilly band, but I'm not trying to sound like the Stray Cats or any of those, Eddie Cochran or whatever. Yes, some of my stuff is reminiscent of that style, but I'm trying to take it in a different area, and maybe that turns people off. They go, well, maybe it's not quite. That's not quite rockabilly, it doesn't just sound like the stuff that I've heard before. Kinda does, I guess. I had one person tell me that we couldn't come to a blues show at Anton's because he thought we were a ska band. Which was like, okay, well, at least he doesn't think that we're straight up out and out rockabilly. I guess, I don't know. It blew my mind. But so they're ruining the true nature of what music is supposed to be. And are there pop stuff that I like? Say, there's some of that stuff from back in the 80s. I look back on it and I'm like, some of that stuff's pretty good. But there was a lot of it that was crap. Just out and out filth, garbage, stupid. And that's why they have one hit wonders. The record companies make the most money off of those guys. Think about it. You find a band, say it's my band. Say somebody shows up, big movie label, or Sony or whatever, shows up. Oh, we love the Bad Billies. We want to sign you guys right away. We'll get your album out. We need your record. They'll probably sign me for, nowadays they only give you a one album deal. If you flop, you flop. But if you make money though, if they push that album and it takes off, whew, they bank it because they do your first album, low budget, get you out, boom, blow up, they scoop up the dough, you pay all the recoupment costs, and then when your next album doesn't do so good, they give you old Spanish Archer, the elbow. Later, and they take off with all the fucking money. And I don't understand this. How can people, this is not to get on a political side in here, but how can people tell me that they are all about independent music? Oh, I'm indie. I love indie. You know, these hipsters with the freaking pointy mustaches and whatever. And like, how can you tell me that? But you lap up all of this corporate garbage, media, MTV, VH1, just ugh, sucks. All that stuff sucks. Find some stuff that search around. Get off of the mainstream crap. Ask some friends. Hey, are there any bands out there or artists that you like that maybe I've never heard of? Find them. Look for it. Find some stuff that's pure, that's real. People playing some instruments. Hell, even if it's hip hop, find something that's like it was back in the day where it's just raw, hits you in the face, and you're like, oh my god. Because when something is really good, it hits you like a ton of bricks, and you're like, okay, that was awesome. And it doesn't have to be sound like it did. It just has to be pure. People can smell it, they feel it, they know it when it's real. Anyway, get off the mainstream stuff. Until then, I'm the Mad Hooter. Defend the faith.